Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Hello, folks. This is Hal Coleman, the Pest Control Marketer, here with you again with another episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast and Pest Control Marketing Live. I'm here with Mike Stewart, my partner in crime, my longtime friend and mentor, Mr. Online himself, and I'm better known as Mr. Offline, and I think we make a pretty good team doing that, Mike.
We have a blast, and we've helped a lot of people, I know for a fact. I'm typing something here so I can have it here in a minute. Sorry, shouldn't have done it. Hey, the show is live, and what I love about it is we never know what we're going to talk about till we get together and think about our recent experiences, and all that always inspires us to have something to talk about.
I have no idea what you're about to say.
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to get into this one. I'm going to throw up this piece of text here. What is social media really? I don't know how many times in my years of doing online work, building websites and really.
Incidentally, you need a question mark at the end of that.
Well,
you know how I am about those little things.
Well, the people on the podcast couldn't see that, but the people watching the video, voila, there is. Hold on. Now, there's your question mark.
There you go. I'm at ease now.
Well, when you're not at ease, you're at dis-ease. And dis-ease is something nobody wants. But all right, anyway, over the years, and especially in the last 15 or more years, since the emergence of Facebook, especially, businesses say, who can help me with my social media? I've heard that over and over again. We need help with our social media. And the truth is, sometimes they don't even really think about what they're saying. And there's lots of companies out there that do cookie cutter content, or sometimes they do what I call fluff content. And they charge a lot of money. In fact, I was working with a client this week, not in the pest control business. They had a social media consultant. A lot of these social media consultants are usually, not disrespecting them, but they're younger than us. They're in their 30s and 40s. I call them the thumbs generation. They know how to type real fast with their thumbs on their phone, but they can't type on a keyboard.
We're the dial-up generation.
Yeah, we're the dial-up and keyboard generation, and they're the thumbs generation. But the thing is social media is not just Facebook. In fact, do you know what the very first social sharing site was? You ever heard of it, Hal? Probably haven't, and that's okay.
They haven't.
Friendster. The very first one that kind of had the concept of sharing content or media, content, pictures, videos, audios, comments, text. That's media. That's communication content. And Friendster was the first website that allowed people to create an account without having a website. So you could always build a website and put your media up on there and share it with everybody. But it was difficult. You had to know HTML language. You had to know web. People couldn't build websites. And Friendster was the first one that said, hey, if you can fill in a form or hit attach a picture, you can post, which was a new concept, your media up on our system. And you can share it with everybody else on the system. Well, Friendster really didn't take off because it was early on. And then here comes along MySpace. You remember MySpace?
Mm-hmm.
MySpace was really the first big, after Friendster, social media site. It was the same concept. You can create an account and you can send, share pictures, share comments or text. You can, and videos weren't as prevalent back then. And you could, build a community of people that liked your content. So that was the social aspect of it. Social media means creating content that people like sharing with their friends. Hence why it was called Friendster. Really, you know why Facebook was called Facebook? Probably not. Most people don't.
I've heard, but
Okay, because Mark Zuckerberg was a student at Harvard, and the first thing he did was take the hot, good-looking girls out of the college annual, which they called a Facebook. The Harvard College annual that had all the pictures of all the students and all the good-looking girls was called Facebook. And he built a website based on those pictures called Hot or Not. And they started sharing it with all the students, voting on if the girl was hot or not. And they got those pictures of all those girls off the Harvard website, their Facebook. And then at some point in the history, a good movie to watch is The Social Experience. What was it called?
A friend of mine had a book like that one time. His was called Hot to Trot.
So anyway, when somebody says, help me with my social media, you got to know what social media really is. And social media nowadays, according to Gary Vaynerchuk, who's one of the leading authorities on making content for the world, that's media, that's social, it's the same thing. He says all the platforms matter. YouTube is probably one of the biggest social media platforms that most businesses ignore. So helping you with your social media means that you should be doing a blog, a podcast. Podcasting is social media. It's audio media that gets published to a platform and gets shared when it's good.
What we're doing is social media right now.
We're doing social media right now. We're creating audio, video content that can be transcribed into text and can be shared on all the platforms. So social media platforms that are important to business are not only Facebook, Instagram, but YouTube, podcasting in Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Instagram, TikTok could go away, but TikTok is just a small video sharing platform for music. Now it's become people are sharing. They're doing what they do on Facebook. These platforms go in and out of being popular, and a lot of the driving force of the popularity of the platforms. I don't think Facebook would have grown as fast as it had not been the invention of the smartphone. Originally, the first one was the iPhone, and then the Android came out. The fact that people can create content with their phone, audios, videos, pictures, and type, and go into an app of Facebook makes it to where grandma can share pictures. We did it all week. We're sharing pictures of our vacation from all over the world, and then the concept of people commenting on it and liking it and sharing it. And then what all of these platforms have realized, when they build a big enough audience, a verifiable audience, then they make their money by paid advertising. They're basically little television networks. They're little radio networks. And so when I had a client this week, a brand new client, they own a ballroom in Columbus, Ohio. They're called the Valleydale Ballroom. And the reason I got the job was I got a lead on a cruise I was on from a fellow that's working with them up in Columbus. And they had hired a lady who was going to charge them $1,000 a month to help them with their social media. That's what they thought they needed. And I said, well, what's she going to do for $1,000 a month? And you know what the biggest mistake answer you can give is?
I don't know.
I'm going to hand you $1,000 a month, and I hope you fix what I think I need, which is fix my social media. See, if you don't know what it is, if you don't get a detail of what this person's going to do for you to help you build a relationship with prospects that turn into customers, you're just throwing away money for nothing. You're not going to get any results. So if you get social media help, ask them exactly what are you going to do for that money. And if they say, well, I'm going to post on your Facebook page every week or 2 times a week, I don't care. For $1,000, 8 posts on Facebook, that's pretty cheap. I mean, that's pretty expensive labor to post. And if half the posts are happy Easter, happy spring, let's celebrate the eclipse, I call that fluff content.
Yeah.
And if you see a lot of these people that have social media managers, hey, this week at such and such business, we're happy that it's Mother's Day. Well, we're all happy it's Mother's Day. That's fluff. You better be creating content that positions you as the authority on what you do. Like this particular venue has concerts and hosts weddings and corporate parties. That's their bread and butter. Well, they could create content on what makes the perfect wedding decoration, how to choose flowers for your wedding, what to expect when getting a caterer. What are some of the I could ask you 1,000, what kind of music?
5 biggest mistakes people make when they hire a caterer.
Right. And then brought to you by, that's media too, but that positions that content. Now you can mix it up. I'm not saying don't wish people Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and all that stuff. That's great. That's just goodwill. But social media better be part, like what we're doing right now. We're trying to prove to our audience that we have an expertise and just understand. So what I wanted to say, what is social media really? It's making media or fresh content, not repurposed or regurgitated content. A lot of these companies say, hey, we'll do blog posts for you, as for instance. But they write one blog post and they post it, on everybody's blog that pays them money.
Yeah, there must be a lot of those people out there, because there's been quite a few of my clients over the last 10 years that have said, well, I just hired somebody to manage my social media, and I'm paying them $500 a month for 6 months. They sign a 6-month deal.
Right.
And at the end of the 6 months, I'm like, well, so how many customers have you gotten from that person that's managing your social media? And the answer almost without fail has been, I don't think I've gotten to one.
Well,
I can't put my finger on a single customer that I've gotten. But they got me all these clicks. They got me all these likes and all this stuff, and I said, well, I want you to take a bunch of those likes to the bank and fill out a deposit slip and hand it to them at the drive-in window and see what you get back in that little tube.
What I want is phone calls of paying customers or emails from paying customers. You can't eat a like. So likes don't mean anything. And the content you create is so easy to make it fresh, unique to you. Number one rule, don't use cookie cutter content from a social media company. Get fresh, and you don't need a social media company to portray, to pretend to be you. I tell my clients, if they'll just give me a half an hour a week to focus on creating good content. Nowadays with artificial intelligence, if you can't write, artificial intelligence will write for you. And then all you got to do is customize it to yourself, read it, and remind people it's you that's given this information. Now, all of a sudden, something that this intelligent computer wrote for you becomes your fresh content. But the bottom line is, unless somebody is in-house and knowledgeable of your business, there's no better expert than you. So create your own content. And as Gary Vaynerchuk says, remember, social media has multiple platforms, and you need to repurpose that content, that same content, on all the platforms, not just one. And especially for pest control, I believe podcasting, blogging, YouTube, and Facebook are the bare minimum. If you want to do Instagram, maybe not so much TikTok, but the world of customers are in these platforms. And if you're not, they don't know you exist.
Yeah.
So understand that when somebody says help you with your social media, ask some hard questions. So what are you going to do for me? Well, I'm going to post 8 times a month. What are you going to post? Well, I've got a whole bunch of blog posts already pre-written. Nah, ain't interested. Are you going to write something original that comes from my perspective? Well, no, I can't do that. Only you can do it. Well, great.
That's right. That's the big key. What you just said, only you can do it. Now, I want to comment here on this, what you've written. What is social media really? The most important word in that sentence is the word social. And social means gathering together and exchanging. Social is not a one-way street. It's a two-way thing. That's what social means. So these places are social gathering places. And like on Facebook, I've got a client right now out in Washington is just tearing it up on Facebook, their company, because she posts, and it took a while to get her to do this, but she says, "Oh, I'm posting," and she's got a very good strategy there. She'll pose a question that she'll just pick up a hypothetical question that somebody might ask about pest control and post it on their site, and people jump in left and right, start making comments on it, and she just sits back and watches the conversation start taking place. And she has become the go-to person in that community there on Facebook for pest problems. And now it's translating into customers. People are calling now. I've been following you on Facebook, and I've got this problem now. And they're calling, they're asking for her, and they know what she looks like. And so she is using social media to build relationships, long-term solid relationships with people. And no social media company can do that for you. Nobody can be you. And if you're the owner of the company, or you're the name and the face of the company, or you're the person in charge of the social media in the company, then there has to be a name and a face associated with it. So, you don't just post ads on your Facebook and your social media about selling stuff. You got to get on there and have conversations with people, help them, teach them, help them, entertain them, solve problems for them. And the money and the phone calls will automatically come to you. You don't have to tell people to call you, because they'll be calling you if you do that.
Right. Well, and you really hit on something good. The difference between media that is not in a social media platform, and keep in your mind, Facebook is not the only social media platform. YouTube is really bigger than Facebook in a lot of ways, because you can comment, you can share, you can like, you can ring the bell. But the social part is called engagement. And if you say Happy Mother's Day, well, everybody says Happy Mother's Day. But if you say, I got a solution to a problem that is pertinent to this area, pertinent to your life, is a solution to a problem you can't stand, you become the expert, and you can always tag your media that's getting engaged with socially. No matter
if it's Mother's Day and you're not having the whole family over to your house today, Happy Mother's Day, by the way. But if you're not having them over for dinner and everything because you're embarrassed because you got cockroaches all over the house, then here's what you might need to think about doing. So
what I was going to say is, you can always tag your media with who you are and how to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people do. I remember one time there was a YouTube video. A guy said, and I looked it up. It's how to clean dust out of your computer. Okay. Something simple. Just the steps to cleaning out the dust of a computer. And that video had over 4 or 5 million views, thousands of contents. And you know what this guy left out? Who he was and how to get in touch with him. So it's like, in the real world, it'd be like you have a pest control truck that's a white panel van with no number or website or bugs on it. You're going down the street. The same white van will get you to the job as one that's wrapped in marketing information. Wrap your media that's being engaged with. What you told me your client's doing, she's creating original media that's being engaged with socially. And Facebook seems to be the platform she's comfortable with. Okay. But Gary Vaynerchuk says, don't ignore. I mean, there are so many places, and we don't know what it'll be. There's talk that TikTok is going to be turned off in the next year or so. We may lose TikTok. So don't build your whole business on any one platform. Build them on all of the platforms. And if you have any questions of how this works and how I handle it for people, I'm going to throw up my phone number here and I'm going to tell it to you out loud. I'd love to review what you do. One of the things that I find interesting, Hal, is every one of the clients I work with don't even have a YouTube channel. And their Facebook presence needs a lot of work. And of course, the biggest dead giveaway is the last time they posted something was Christmas when they said Merry Christmas. That was the last post.
Yeah.
So it's really, you can't hide if you're not doing it. So
you can reap a fortune from social media. The phone will ring off the hook if you do it correctly. And that's pretty much free advertising.
Well, I'll tell you what I told this client this week. I said, you don't need help with social media. You need help with content marketing, which includes everything.
Yeah.
Now, what platform you build a presence on, build it on all of them because you win. But don't call it help me with my social media. Help me with my content. And that's what the localbig3.com. Go to Local Big 3 and read about the big 3 things that most people either don't do at all or get wrong. Or call me at 770-826-3662. And we'll look at that social media. And the same thing, I'll give you a free hour, no obligation. In fact, we talked about in a podcast, be willing to give people things for free to make sure you're a good fit. And I know Hal does that with his pestcontrolmarketer.com. Why don't you talk about that, Hal?
Well, if you'd like to spend an hour, 3 hours, it's not going to be an hour of me trying to sell you stuff. You can forget about that. There's no pressure there. It's an hour of me helping you drill down and identify some things that you can do to generate some quick sales and things that maybe that you need to change that are holding you back from growing your company. So give me a call, 770-993-0004, and let's chat. And then after we chat, if you want to do that hour, then we'll set it up. And there's no obligation. There's no sales pressure. There's no catch. There's no risk. There's no weasel clauses. There's no lawyer language. There's no traps. There's no nothing. You'll just come away, and at the end of those hours, people say, "Man, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate you spending this hour with me and giving me this information." I'm like, "Thank you," And if you want to know about my coaching program at the end of our hour, I'll be glad to explain it to you. And if you don't, I won't. So and if you're listening to this right now and you don't make the call to take advantage of this free, then we have to look at what's in your head there. What would cause you not to want to do that? If you want to grow your business and you're serious about it, there's some obstacle in there that's preventing you from taking step one. So that's something that we might need to talk about also. Who knows? But give me a call if you're interested. Call Mike if you're interested. You have absolutely nothing to lose. And with that, Mike, I'm going to close it out and say, folks, thanks again for watching this episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast and pestcontrolmarketing.live.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.